Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senior Managing Director, Technology Ecosystem and Ventures, Accenture, Gene Reznik.
Good morning. Good morning. It's my pleasure to be here with you today and share a little bit about how Accenture views the journey to software, the journey to extreme programming, the journey to all the things that have been mentioned in this conference today. You know, for us, many of you may be familiar with Accenture, but we're now a 400,000 person company, right? Still grounded in helping our clients, big enterprises, the global 2000s, really transform their processes, their technologies on a global basis. We operate in 120 countries. We operate in 120 countries. We serve 40 industries, and have really become, a global professional services company anchored and powered by technology and helping our clients really achieve what they're looking to do with technology. You may also, find it interesting that we do have a long history with around open source, with Cloud Foundry, with Spring. We have 40,000 Java developers. We have 6,000 folks that also look at Spring and all the dimensions around that. So really, a long lineage and long relationship with a pivotal organization. Now, as you sort of think about where we are and what we're looking to do, I think from our perspective, it's been an interesting journey, right? For a lot of our clients, they're coming off this sort of left curve, right? That really started manifesting itself in the 90s. A lot of the global packaged software got deployed. A lot of it was ERP. And it was done through waterfall. It was done with ITSM principles. There was some monoliths that were written around that. And for many of our clients, this is still the core of what they're dealing with. And I will tell you, while we can certainly sort of throw rocks at a lot of this stuff, it did drive tremendous value for many, many years across many industries. You could not really have the global enterprise of today, right, without many of these disciplines, right? How do you really automate and standardize processes on a global company operating in 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 countries? How do you get operations centers to be all powered by the same applications? How do you get the processes in one part of the world to feel like the other ones? So, there's been tremendous amount of value that's been created on that blue curve. But we also clearly understand that now the name of the game is velocity and speed. And operating in a digital world requires, fundamentally different disciplines. And this is where I think, the fortune of it is, I think the curve on the upper right is really what's been made available to all of the clients that we serve. And that's grounded in fundamentally different kinds of things. It's grounded in cloud and DevOps and open source and microservices. And tremendous value really can be realized by moving the organization. The challenge that our clients face, and many of you in this room face, is fundamentally that these two curves coexist in most enterprises today, and sort of how you actually work together to move from one to the other. How do you sort of think about the culture, the workforce, the digital decoupling, all of the things that you're trying to do to really jump the curves and make that journey for your company, and really make the curve on the right truly power the business in the same way and create the same type of value or more value. I would argue it's actually more value than even the curve that was on the left. And that's really where we're focusing. And again, there's a lot of certainly conversations. There's a lot of initiatives that many of our clients are undertaking. But the one thing that's really become the common thing and a common understanding is, at the end of the day, software is at the core of where the business needs to go. And that's extremely well understood by everyone. And I think people really understand writing software, becoming a software company is really at the core of their digital journey and at the core of the future that they're really trying to build for their organization and their customers. So, whether you're in the business of, smashing particles, whether you're in the business of building defense systems, whether you're in the business of manufacturing automobiles, or whether you're in the business of digital disruption, right? Software is the name of the game. And this is not packaged software, as everybody in this room knows. And it does create sort of this challenge for many organizations, which is, historically they could hold an SAP, an Oracle, a Microsoft responsible and accountable for the integrity of the code, and all that they really had to do was configure it. Right? How do you deal and how do you think about a much greater dependence of code, 2, much greater amount of code, and 3, much less accountability for the quality of the code? And I think that's an interesting challenge, as the entire business is, the previous example, one little problem can really create tremendous amount of issues for a company. And that's really what we're trying to do. And as Accenture, right, we work with our clients, we discuss these issues, we're trying to sort of help them really try to strike the right balance in how they approach this. Now, when we looked at it, we said, hey, I think we need some partners, and that's really my job. I run what we call ecosystem and ventures. So my job is building partnerships for Accenture with the companies that we feel really reinforce and amplify, the propositions that we take to our clients and work with our clients. And we really felt that a much more strategic relationship with Pivotal was really something that made a lot of sense, for each of us, but probably more importantly for our customers. Right? And how do you really scale all the great things that Pivotal does, that Pivotal Labs does, and really, basically enable the adoption of software engineering practices, of extreme programming to move faster into the enterprise, and partnering with our collective clients globally to really make it happen? So last month we announced a partnership that we're very proud of, right? We're creating a new business group called the Accenture Pivotal Business Group. We're making investments. And really, it's going to be grounded in 3 things. Number 1, we're focusing on large enterprises, right? The big companies around the world that are looking to become software businesses to power their digital transformation. Number 2, we have a unique joint studio model where actually Pivotal Labs resources are working with Accenture folks in many geographies, starting with the United States, but expanding globally, to really create a joint team to really amplify and scale all the great work and all the great practices and all the great tooling that Pivotal Labs has built over the years. And 3, right, we're also making investments in skills on a global basis in Accenture's global delivery networks across the world to really power what we're trying to do together on a global basis. And really that manifests itself, in 3 sort of key things that we want to bring to all of you and to many of our clients, right? Number 1, we want to scale and accelerate cloud-native application development, right? So whether it's omni-channel programs, omni-channel solutions, whether it's connected services platforms, whether it's new digital customer experiences and customer journeys, whether it's new connected products, right? We want to have the ability to scale up and accelerate, helping global enterprises really build this out in a much more prolific way. And I think that's important. And for Accenture, we needed a partner like Pivotal to really be able to provide that to our collective clients. Number 2, we all recognize we operate in many enterprises that have tremendous amount of technical debt, of legacy applications, and this whole thing around application modernization, refactoring, microservices architectures, bridging the old and the new, is really a big challenge for many of our clients. So really having a very standard ways of approaching it, having a good ways of really engaging with our clients and helping them navigate these journeys and really doing it on a global basis at scale is a very, very important part of what we're looking to get right, right? And 3, and this is particularly important, many of you in this audience are building organizations to do many of these same things, right? And Accenture and Pivotal want to help you achieve that, right? So we're not talking about outsourcing. We're really talking about partnering and helping the world's largest organizations stand up the capabilities and the workforces that they need of their own teams to be successful, right? So this is really about partnering between Accenture and Pivotal, but it's also partnering with the biggest organizations in the world to really help them become software companies. And we're excited to do that. Accenture has tremendous capability globally around agile academies and helping companies become much more of an agile development organization, and really connecting it in with what we're talking about here, and really driving a lot of these disciplines that we talked about in this conference into the enterprise is really what we want to get right. So that wraps up my talk. We're really excited to be at sort of on this software journey with all of you. We're really excited to be partnering with Pivotal to really accelerate and scale the adoption of cloud native development. And we look forward to working with many of you in the months and years to come. Thank you.